Good evening, dear viewers of Smart 24 TV, and together with the listeners, we are blessed to have such a good evening that we will be discussing the point. In this point program, we have our dear guests. You're welcome. My name is Dr. Joseph Tinjeba, and I'm blessed to be with Professor. It has been long, sir, since we the whole country and globally we've been appreciating in terms of the progress, especially attaining the university charter. You had a powerful graduation which you were able to attend, represented in Smart 24 TV. Recent I was able to come across a very great publication which is reading over the world, especially relating to authentic university. So having you, it's a blessing, and kindly greet the viewers as I will also be welcoming our next guest.
To begin with, thank you very much, Dr. Joseph Tinjeba, for this opportunity and Smart 24 TV. It's always a pleasure to be here discussing important things that help us as a country. So to the viewers out there, thank you for tuning in, and those who have not tuned in, and please let them know that there is maybe something very, very critical for our nation that we would love to have a conversation with them and share everything. If they can pick something and implement that, that's for the good of our country, for the good of everyone. So it's a pleasure to have you tuning in this evening, and we hope that the conversation will benefit everyone who is watching.
Thank you so much. Once again, dear viewers, we are with our dear guest, Madame Shamim K. Matovu, and she does a great role at the university, the Victoria University, as the career and employability specialist. We will be learning a lot and getting information through this discussion, because our topical discussion is university experiential learning and employment diversity in Uganda. I was looking through exactly the employment diversity required of, but for everyone over there, just in brief, we need to have access, easy access to employment for all. And it has been a challenge. And this country has established a body, even regulated the law, which is referring to equal employment opportunities, the diversity within the country and beyond the boundaries of Uganda. And one asks, who can access this employment? And I will have the major question, that is, will the case study of private and public university be a solution for citizen social economic demand? Dear guests, we're supposed to be with Professor John Kasenenoe, who is the Vice Chancellor of Mountain of the Moon tonight, but he was not able to make it, and he promises to make it next time. This is a newly, fully fledged public university in the Western region, and they are doing a good work, and it was a pleasure together to have both of us here, especially to look at the case study or studies of private and public university. Nevertheless, our discussion remains intact, and we want to explore through the university experiential learning. And my aspiration, and together with the TV, with the Smart 24 TV, is to inspire those who are in the education chain and linkages that it shouldn't be a waste of time to go through the learning process, but there is what it should mean. And this is where now we start from, where parents come and they pay a lot of money to ensure that their children go to school, to universities. But the end point, currently the challenge Ugandans are facing and the socio-economic demand is, at the end of the day, there's no employment. At the end of the day, you find you pay the school fees, the children come back home, and they spend more other 3, 4, 5 years, even 10 years. I would like to straight away go to Professor Across. You are the one who has been inspiring us. And by the way, I congratulate you for Victoria University have attained the university charter that makes you much more popular in delivering the education service to the whole world. And in amidst that, we are very hopeful that such questions are now to be answered. Kindly, please, may you give us your package as we inspire this generation to take, a stage to the next level.
That's a very, very loaded question for me to handle, but being an educationist, I'll do my best.
Thank you, sir.
There is no right or wrong answer, but we all know what is right, that our country needs to be in the right place. Our young people need to be in a position where they are able to better their lives and better their families, and later on, of course, better the country. As they better themselves, their communities, they also better the country. And that's what we are working hard to achieve as all of us who are within the education sector. Now, there is one thing that is very, very unfortunate that we need to pay attention to. And this is so simple to those who live now. To those who no longer live with us, certainly they left the problem, and we still inherited the problem, and we are carrying on with it. The question is, what happened to what used to be here in terms of creating jobs, and if you wish, call them careers for young people to thrive in, not to survive? I would say that once upon a time, there was something called a university. And everyone thought, which was not even just thinking, it was the reality, that if you go to university, then that is it is simply one way of claiming your share of heaven while you're still on earth. So it was one indicator of success if everyone stepped in that place called university. That was a dream. That was a promise. That everyone, you go to university, sorted. Everything is going to be great. The unfortunate part, or the bad news, is that that promise can no longer hold. So you can go to university, but the promise is gone. You'll finish, come back home, sit with your parents, do everything you have to do, but something called a job for yourself, even you creating one, it is so becoming far-fetched. So now, as educators, we have to think, just sit, come back to the drawing board, come back to the thinking table, and then try to articulate what went wrong that we need to really fix to make sure that the education we provide from ground up works for this nation. So this is a question that is not supposed to be answered by educationists alone, but everyone, because education affects all of us. So let me draw your attention to something simple, to paint a picture to our fellow Ugandans watching this evening. Think of a situation. It only happens in countries that still aspire to become developed or grow. So it's only in Uganda where a child is woken up at around 5:30 a.m. If you have children, you become my witness, to go to school. 5:30 a.m. Or if you are too late, 6 a.m. And then you take them, they have to be in class by 7. Failure to do that, the student is very late and cannot be accommodated in any classroom, in any country, in any district in this country, or in any school in this country. And guess what? Do you know the time they have to leave school? 5 or 6 p.m. 5 or what?
Or 6.
6 p.m. Now, and you know what they study? They study everything that has been manufactured abroad, and they bring it to this child who went to school from 6, or if you're unlucky, You were woken up at 5:30 and you find a parent is busy driving, coming to Kampala with a kid, a 3-year-old or 4-year-old who is going to school at 6 a.m. or 5:30. And this kid is supposed to go back home after school at 6 or 7 p.m. And what they're going to cover is every curriculum that has been developed and textbooks developed from somewhere whose children, I want you to note this, from somewhere whose children actually go to school at 8:30 or 9 a.m. and leave school 2:55 or 2:50, not even 3, 2:50 p.m. How many hours are those? Roughly how many? 4 and something or 5. And those are even areas where they have exaggerated studying. Other countries like Sweden, Finland, kids go to school for 3 hours. And guess what? They are very, very developed. It is going to be very, very hard for us to even catch up. And we can't even manufacture things.
So you are saying we are taking much more time, our children, in schools, but yet the rate of development continue to be minimal.
Exactly. Our kids are spending so much time in school, and our productivity, creativity, innovation is actually very, very minimal. So the education we have is not supporting those things that I'm telling you about. It is not supporting innovation. It's not supporting like people acquiring experience. It is not supporting competencies. It is not supporting creativity. It is actually killing those things. Therefore, we need to change. We need to wake up when when it's not too late.
Because the other day we finished 60 years of, we're celebrating 60 years of independence.
Yes.
And I do agree with you that there is need to rethink.
Yeah, we need to rethink, not reform, to transform completely.
That's right.
So now that's when and this is not anything to do with university alone. From kindergarten to the university, transformation needs to happen. And when it comes to the university, you cannot afford to be in a university and you get out without mastery of what took you there, without competencies of what took you there, without soft skills that are needed in the industry. We cannot afford to educate students without actually bringing in employers to be our co-educators. You cannot afford to keep issuing a transcript full of academics or subjects. This is the time we have to rethink and also issue a transcript full of competencies that show what you can do. And these things are possible. For example, I was actually grappling with someone who thought the word life and defined it for us and even wrote it as a 4-lettered word, life, and then gave it a definition. Then I realized if this person sat somewhere and devised the meaning of life and even gave it a word, 4 letters, we can change it and how it means. We can figure out what else it could have actually been. So this education system, we can change it.
Thank you.
You know?
Yes, please.
And this person here, Shamin, actually I wish you had even asked her first. She carries a package.
She will have her own time.
How you can actually make education really mirror real life.
Yes, please.
You know one thing I have done? And maybe this country can ask me that, what have you done? You talk and talk. You see problems. But where is the solution? I have spent 2 years trying to put together a solution that I think, and very, very convinced, that will redeem and transform the higher education, and it will restore the higher education promise that I started with. So to me, this is my gift to my country.
Thank you so much.
This book This book transforms
That's a graph.
the dream
Yes.
that every young person craves for. That every parent who wants to see a child becoming who they have aspired to become, this is the book. Now, every institution, employers, teaching institutions, this is how we have to teach our kids.
So, dear viewers, the title of the book is Transforming Education for a New Era.
A new era.
And it goes on to talk about authentic university. This is by Lawrence Muganga, and it's a very strong, heavy volume.
Yes.
Which is now being.
It's not too much for nothing.
Yeah.
There is a reason you ask for a package. Now, every solution we need to better higher education to look like the times we are in today.
Is it accessible direct online? And
Online, anywhere. It's interesting.
how much if one is buying?
Here it is. It's interesting that the international community has picked significant interest. As of last 2 weeks, it had sold in the developed world 17,000 copies.
17,000.
Copies.
Wow, Prof, you're making money. That's a good
No,
one.
the problem is not money. I mean, the
That's a
important
good
thing is
one.
not money. It's a good problem. But the important thing is how can Ugandans pick what is in
Let's
that?
come back here home. Have you
Yes.
taken
Now,
a
it's
step to take it
accessible.
to the parliament so that they are able, like education committee of parliament?
Now, I am
all
looking-
this is to help
And
in policy development and formulation.
A few
And it has
things.
been it has been a challenge. One time I did my thesis, which was entitled Fiscal Decentralization and Agriculture Extension Service Delivery. These are books which are addressing issues of economic policy gaps. But unfortunately, but there's a fortunate part, it wasn't taken care of in terms of being utilized to help in shaping the formulation of policies. So one question I ask you, if not yet still, we implore the viewers and especially policymakers, we believe this is a good information that will be able to help us while we are shaping the education and economic policy of this country. You are concluding something?
Yeah, I have. You asked if I've taken it around to different key policymakers. Now, I would also want to add that I have consistently
Yes, sir.
watched and listened to His Excellency the President, really grappling with a question: where are the professors? Why aren't you addressing the problems we have? And you're right, he's right. The education we receive, the education we are giving can hardly solve those problems he's talking about.
In the next round, you
Now,
will, yes, please.
This book,
Yes, please.
if a university implements it as it is, His Excellency the President's problems are sorted. Now, I look forward to the Honorable Minister of Education and the First Lady of this country that she will interest herself
Yes,
in
please.
this book.
Yes, please.
Technocrats in the ministry, they will interest themselves, and I'll go to them. I'll talk to them.
Thank you.
But most
Yes, sir.
importantly, the business community too, because we are co-educators. We, as institutions, we can't educate alone. We need them because we are educating people they need who are going to make them make more money, right? So they have to be educated better. Starts here.
Thank you. We are going for a commercial break, and I will interest the professor in 5 minutes after the commercial break. But we'll first welcome her to give us also a package of inspiration on how employability is possible. And we will be able to look at the good thing. I know that with the experience you have to come up just with a summary of the abstract and tell us this and that, you will be also able to give us part of the insight in the book. We appreciate you so much. Please see you in the next session. As we come back, we'll be having more package to deliver to you.